You're right on time for Hope TV Newswatch on the 17th day of February 2026. A very good evening to you wherever you're watching us from, and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Kennedy Kimani and Boniface Morethi is our sign language interpreter. We begin with the city of Nairobi is set for a major facelift after the national and county governments signed an 80 billion shilling partnership agreement. The deal will fund solid waste management, clean water access, city security, transport, and street lighting. As Vincent Kerosi now reports, President William Ruto, who witnessed the signing, dismissed claims of a national government takeover, saying the agreement is purely cooperative and aimed at boosting service delivery.
Give them a round of applause.
In what appears to be a new structure of service delivery, the national and Nairobi City County governments have agreed to partner to give the city of Nairobi a new look.
It's actually designed to close.
At an event held Tuesday afternoon at State House Nairobi, President Ruto and Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja embraced the partnership, saying it will bring a new dawn to the city, with key projects being realized through an 80 billion guarantee.
We've been partnering in a number of issues, such as the Nairobi Rivers Commission and the regeneration of the river, water provision to the city, the school food feeding program, which has a separate agreement, roads and mobility, markets, housing, among other areas. This agreement solidifies those arrangements, providing a legal framework for additional support, including partnership in security and order.
A city of Nairobi's stature must be fully lit, fully safe, and fully functional. To address this, we are committing 3.7 billion towards street lighting modernization and expansion.
Among the partnership's key projects is the city's security. The president promised the establishment of a special police unit to control security in the city of Nairobi, which, according to reports, is haunted by more than 130 gangs that endanger the safety of its residents. Transportation, water, and garbage collection are other projects expected to receive aid approval from the central government.
Mimi nilifanya campaign pamoja na huyu mungwana. Tulikubaliana na watu wa Nairobi, hii Nairobi haiwezi kuwa mji wa takataka. Today, my friends, let's be honest with ourselves. Nairobi River is a sewer, right? Right, going through the city.
While dismissing rumors that his government plans to take over key responsibilities from the county, as was done during Governor Sonko and President Uhuru Kenyatta through the NMS, Ruto noted that 13 years since the establishment of devolution, the city of Nairobi has lagged behind and needs a better arrangement to raise its status to that of other major world cities.
There is no transfer of functions happening. For the avoidance of doubt, I have no interest in running the city of Nairobi. My hands are full. The governor and his team must run the city of Nairobi.
The agreement, which will now be tabled before the county governments of Nairobi and later sent to the public for public participation, will be implemented by a committee chaired by the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and Governor Sakaja. The pact is set to be implemented in the next 13 days. Vincent Kerosi, Hope TV, Nairobi.
Your Excellency's kind permission, sir, I now invite, it's now my distinct honor to invite the...
So much, Vincent, for that report. Moving on swiftly, the Kenya Devolution Civil Society Organizations has condemned the recent tensions between the Senate and the Council of Governors, insisting the intergovernmental disputes are systemic attempts to undermine devolution. The group now wants both the Senate and governors to adhere to their sworn duty to make devolution work for the people. Samia Dika now reports.
To a higher purpose.
At the backdrop of a standoff between governors and senators following corruption allegations, where governors resolved to suspend appearances before the Senate County Public Accounts Committee and senators threatening to withhold resources from non-compliant counties. The Kenya Devolution Civil Society Organization's working group has castigated the friction between the two factions, warning that such actions will hold ordinary citizens hostage. Condemning admissions of bribery by a section of governors to influence oversight outcomes, the group now wants relevant state agencies to conduct thorough investigations and bring to book those found culpable.
Call upon the Directorate of Criminal Investigations and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, that is EACC, to immediately investigate these allegations. Bribery of public officials undermines the foundation of devolution.
Both the Senate and the Council of Governors have sworn to duty to make devolution work for the people of Kenya. Secrecy must end. Oversight must be opened. CSOs must be given observer status. The people must be allowed to watch.
With devolution being under serious threat, Kenyans have been urged to strengthen citizen accountability mechanisms across different levels of governance, a move aimed at ensuring no leader turns oversight into a bargaining chip.
Devolution was about pulling those in the last mile, in the lowest bracket, to come up so that people are able to sustain their lives. So as it is, corruption is actually taking away that promise of devolution.
Where you hear public participation, participate, so that you can also come and even question your governor. When you go to that budget and you see an amount of money was allocated to something that is not making sense to you, call it out. Call it out. Because as long as civil society is calling it out and the citizens are not, this is where they get away with it.
This comes as a section of UDA allied leaders from Trans Nzoia County criticized the decision by governors to boycott grilling sermons by senators, insisting they must be held accountable.
Article 125 of the Constitution, it says the Committee of Parliament has the powers like the powers of the High Court. If you are summoned and you don't show up, tunaambia IG kanja mahali yako, akamate wale magovernors, awapeleke waende wajibike mbele ya kamati ya Senate.
Wajeuri, domokaya, wenye kelele mingi na kuibia county lazima wakwende Senate, they must be accountable.
With Kenyans bearing the brunt of corruption, the push for transparency is seemingly gaining momentum, with civil groups insisting it is the only way to end corruption and revive development in counties. For Newswatch, I'm Sami Adika.
For that report. Dr. Oburu Odinga's tenure as the ODM party leader has been one bumpy ride for the shortest time he has led the party, from struggling to bring cohesion between different factions in the party to managing outright dissent from within. While he may take credit for some highs like the November by-election wins, a tricky road lies ahead as the party prepares for its National Delegates Conference on the 27th of March. Our reporter Jacob Ochiro with more on this.
When Oburu Odinga took over as ODM party leader on 13th November 2025, after ratification by the National Governing Council, he was quick to point out that former party leader, his younger brother the late Raila Odinga's shoes were too big to fill. Exactly 3 months down the line, the Siaya senator has had it rough trying to stabilize the ship amidst a lot of unpredictability on the party's direction. Immediately after taking the mantle during ODM's 20 years celebration, the ship started encountering storms when her niece, Iala MP Winnie Odinga, dropped a bombshell just a day after the National Governing Council ratified the decision.
Nasikia kuna wengine ambao wanatembea nasi mchana lakini usiku wanajaribu kuuza hii chama. Haiwezekani. ODM was not born in a bedroom. It was not made in a bedroom. So its future will not be discussed as pillow talk.
The writing was now on the wall that things would be far from rosy. However, in a show of might, Oburu steered ODM to much-needed wins in the November 27 parliamentary by-elections in Ugunja, Magarini and Kasipul. His first test for 2026 came on 6 January when Migori Senator Eddie Okech wrote to the party seeking the removal of Edwin Sifuna as ODM Secretary General, but Oburu's mediation skills came into play and subsequently, Senator Eddie withdrew the letter. On 18th January, during a Kakamega Linda ground tour, Oburu found himself in unfamiliar territory after he was forced to address two separate factions of the ODM party that held separate meetings, each with their own self-proclaimed county chairman. The meetings were preceded by serious allegations against Oburu from cooperatives and MSMEs CS Wycliffe Oparanya, questioning his leadership and accusing him of being bribed. In what may be his boldest move yet, Sifuna was once again on his chopping board, but this time, Oburu finally cracked the whip and cracked it hard on the 11th of February when the NEC committee removed him from the position of SG.
This party is a party like a club. When you join a club, you have to obey the rules of that club. You cannot disobey the rules of the club and you continue to pride yourself that I am the party leader of ODM and yet I contradict everything that ODM is saying.
A battle royale now awaits to see who will have the last laugh. On 12th January, an ODM Central Committee meeting birthed what is being widely referred to as the Kilifi Declaration, which resolved that Oburu could start pre-election coalition talks with the ruling UDA party. Since then, his decision-making has come into sharper focus, especially after he changed his stance on the President Ruto's running mate position for 2027.
Lakini kuna kitu ingine watu wengine wali misinterpret. Walisema ati mimi nilisema ati sisi hatutaki kiti cha deputy president. Hiyo kiti ya deputy president ndio tunalenga sana. Hiyo ndio tunalenga.
Even as questions continue to linger about Oburu's capacity to lead the 20-year-old party, how he navigates the next few days in the run-up to the NDC might determine whether he will deliver ODM supporters to the proverbial cannon or not. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Jacob Ochiro.
Thank you so much, Ochiro, for that report. Away from that, and Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has urged ODM members opposed to supporting President William Ruto in 2027 to engage in dialogue, warning that internal divisions are fueling tension within the Luo community. Speaking after meeting the Luo Council of Elders, CS Mbadi said disagreements within the ODM party began even before the late Raila Odinga passed on. Mbadi called on dissenting leaders to openly explain their position to avoid further unrest.
The reason why they came to see me is because they are seeing some unhealthy division within, starting with our community and the party we love so much, ODM. It is true that ODM is a national party, but it is equally true that the foundation of ODM is actually the Luo community. That wherever you see any division within the Luo community, it spirals to the ODM party, and vice versa. And therefore, the kind of exchanges, the kind of emotions that we see around within the party and by extension within the community is not healthy at all and does not help to push forward the agenda of our community in particular and also our party in general. I know some people will be questioning that you are the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury. It is true, yes. I am a cabinet secretary. I am the cabinet secretary, National Treasury, but it is also not disputable that I'm a Luo, and it is equally not disputable that I belong to the Orange Democratic Movement. And therefore, when matters and issues of the community are being discussed, I am at the center of it. And by the way, I am now the senior most member of our community in the government of the Republic of Kenya.
Now, victims of the Mai Mahiu floods, which killed over 60 people, are calling for answers 2 years on, blaming Kenya Railways for the tragedy. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki led the resettlement of 105 landowners, issuing title deeds and 20,000 Kenya shillings startup kits. Tenants affected by the floods will be resettled in a second phase as the Ministry of Lands secures more land. Families continue to seek justice, compensation, and support to rebuild their lives.
I want to thank watu wa Mai Mahiu kwa sababu mmetugojea na mkakubali against a lot of incitement ya kwamba kazi inaendelea. Hiyo kazi, Your Excellency, ndio tupate shamba Hawa watu ndio walienda kutafuta, wakatuonyesha rais wetu na wewe mkatusaidia kutafuta pesa.
Familia zote zitapata ardhi. Wale walikuwa wamejenga na wale walikuwa wamekodisha. Familia zote zitapata pesa ya kuwasaidia kujenga. Wale walikuwa wamekodisha, wale walikuwa wamejenga. Na leo hiyo 20,000 for family ya kuwasaidia kwenda kujenga for 161 families. Mimi naacha hapa na Governor Susan Kihika.
From Maimahio, let's cross over to Isiolo, and
The ongoing
16 illegal firearms have been recovered in the ongoing security operation in Isiolo County over the past week, bringing the total to 23 weapons since the operation began 2 weeks ago. Authorities say about 500 firearms remain in civilian hands, many linked to banditry and cattle rustling. County Police Commander Isaac Sang has urged voluntary surrender under a government amnesty, warning that those who refuse will face the full force of the law.
The ongoing security operation in Isiolo County has registered significant success since its commencement 2 weeks ago, the latest indicator pointing at the recovery of 16 more illegal firearms, including an M16 rifle and 7 AK-47s.
Tuko na Mark 4 punduki 4, tuko na AK-47 ambayo ni punduki 7, tuko na G3 punduki 3, tuko na M16 hapa na tuko na Sir British punduki 1. Na mbele ya hiyo tunawezaona ya kwamba tumerepackage marisasi na ammunition zingine kwa sababu ya kupeleka kwa for further investigation. Na tunawasia kwamba kwa sababu ukiangalia hizi punduki ukiangalia zimeshikwa na kutu sana, na ile kushikwa na kutu ni kwa sababu unakuta wale wakora ama bandits wanaweka katika, wanaekelea kwa mchanga, wanaficha kwa mchanga wakati wanaona wale maafisa wa polisi wanakaribia kwa maybe sehemu zao mahali wanafanyia mifuko zao.
Security officers have also recovered 655 shots, pushing the total number of recovered goats and sheep to 2,389, alongside 77 heads of cattle and 1 camel.
Katika hii operesheni tulisemezana na tulielewana kwamba tukipata mifugo ya wizi katikati ya mifugo yako, hiyo mifugo yako yote utaweza kupoteza, ndio tu compensate wale ambao walipoteza mifugo.
While acknowledging numerous attempts to frustrate the security operation in the Upper Eastern region, Isiolo County Police Commander Isaac Sang and Deputy County Commissioner Bernard Okwiri linked the recovery to sustained cooperation between members of the public, more so providing crucial intelligence that has contributed to ridding the region of illegal firearms used in cattle rustling, highway banditry and other crimes.
Ukiangalia punduki ambaye simeletwa hapa kwa hiari, unakuta ni nusu kwa nusu. Ile sisi wenyewe tumerecover na tumeshika suspect ni nusu, na isile yenyewe ambaye imekuwa surrendered na members of the public pia ni nusu kwa nusu. Hizi silaha ni hatari. Tunawasihi wananchi ya kwamba hizi sio solution ya kuleta amani. Hizi silaha imeumisha watu wengi.
6 suspects in connection with the illegal arms, alongside 4 others linked to cattle rustling, are in police custody awaiting prosecution, with security officials stating that the suspects will serve as crucial leads in the ongoing disarmament exercise.
Zile punduki ambayo siko mbele zetu sio punduki zote. Kuna punduki mingi zaidi ya 500 siko kwa mikono ya raia, na hizo punduki zote ni haramu. Tunaomba ya kwamba tafadhali mturudishie hizi punduki, kwa sababu serikali tayari imepeana punduki kwa watu ya NBR. NBR ni officers wetu ambayo wako kutoka kwa local community na wametusaidia sana. Hata ukiangalia hizi mapunduki, wao pia walikuwa wanatusaidia na information, na hata members of the public ndio ili to lead ndio tukarecover hizi punduki.
Na tunahimiza wale ambao bado hawajajitolea, ambao bado labda wako na woga wa kujitolea na kurudisha silaha, wajue kwamba ama wafahamu kwamba sisi ukirudisha silaha kwa hiari bila kushurutishwa, tutakupatia ile amnesty ambayo minister alikuwa amesema. Lakini kwa wale ambao itatubidi tuwasukume ama tuwaendee na nguvu ndio tuwapate na silaha, tutawashtaki kwa kulingana na mujibu wa sheria.
The government has vowed not to blink fast, extending the operations to the neighboring counties of Samburu and Laikipia. Theo Masharia for Hope TV Newswatch.
Now, women have been encouraged not to be selective when they go out to seek for their daily bread in an empowerment project spearheaded by Hesed Africa, a community-based organization in Nairobi that includes refugee women,
The ongoing
survivors of gender-based violence,
security
and those
operation
facing
in
various
Isiolo
family
County.
challenges. More than 300 women have been empowered through training and have graduated as garment tailors, a pillar to help them improve their lives. Vincent Kerosi has more.
Where there is a will, there is a way. These women demonstrate the truth of this adage. These certificates open a new chapter in the lives of these women whose journey has been fraught with numerous challenges, including gender-based violence, child marriage, and failed marriages, among others. Teresia Mumbua, a university graduate with a bachelor's degree in commerce, is one of those who received certificates after completing a 4-month technical training as a result of Hesed Africa. Mumbua explains, despite her university education, it has been difficult for her to secure an employment, and so this project will enable her to become self-employed to meet her needs and those of her dependent child.
Ukipata any opportunity ya hizi skills ziko best at hand, ziko kwa akili. Hii ni kitu una practice ukiona, na the more you practice the more inaingia. So like easy white collar jobs, degree ni karatasi sikatai, but pia pale nje hakuna kazi. Wenye wako kwa ofisi ni our grandparents, people wenye hata hawatoki kwa hiyo ofisi na wako ready kutoka. So hizi skills ukiwa nazo unaweza fanya kazi yako kwa nyumba, you can rent somewhere na ujiemploy.
On the other hand, Veronica Nekesa, a mother of 4 children, 3 of whom have special needs, says she has been relying on odd jobs, doing people's laundry. As she explains, it is a very difficult job considering that her children need her all the time as she is their only parent. So this empowerment comes in handy in alleviating part of her challenges.
Yes, second born wetu akona watoto 9, first born akona 7, third born akona 2, fourth born akona 4. Lakini sasa mimi tu ndio hii hali ilinipata. Mimi naimiza wakina mama, Mungu anapokupea kitu usikatae na usikufe moyo, kwa sababu yeye ndio akona hiyo nguvu na anajua ni kwa nini amekupea. Kwa sababu mimi pia nilikuwa chini, lakini ni kuongeleshwa, ndio maana hata wakati kama saa hii ningekuwa nalia tu. Ilikuwa ni mtu akiniongelesha nikulia, lakini sasa mimi pia niliongeleshwa na nikapata nguvu naweza ongea mbele ya watu. Na tunazidi tu kuomba Mungu, tunaombeana tu Mungu ndiye anajua.
This program has had a significant impact on the whole household, not just in terms of giving the new skills and starting of businesses, because we look at a woman who is raising children but without the means to do so. We have seen more children going back to school. We have seen children walking out of abusive marriages. We have seen women going back to actually agitate for the rights of children, because even the children in the program are covered under child protection. We have seen women pursue their legal issues, women who were also exposed to physical violence, to gender-based violence. They are now empowered to seek services.
To date, this project by Hesed Africa has benefited more than 300 women with the goal of continuing to give them hope and another chance in life for those who have been challenged by life's circumstances and events. Vincent Kerosi, Hope TV, Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Vincent, for that report. It's exactly 25 minutes past the top of the hour. Time now for a short break. But immediately after, I'll be back with the business news as well as the sports news. Stick around.
Hi everyone, my name is George Gishoro, a presenter with Hope TV. Thank you so very much for continuing to support us by watching all our programs. Now, we would love to serve you even better. Now, we want to know where you are watching us from and the strength of the signal. You can scan the QR code and ensure that you answer all the questions in ensuring that you are getting us loud and clear with crystal pictures. So go ahead and fill in the QR code so that we can serve you better right here at Hope TV, where you look and live.
Going back to the heart of worship.
Whether up the mountain or down the valley, we were created to worship God.
Enjoy carefully selected worship music every Wednesday all day long.
Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
We take it a notch higher with more worship music.
Every Wednesday
is Worship Wednesday.
Only on Hope FM. Listen and live.
We have no means and no ways in our own capacity or knowledge to bring someone to Christ. This is the perfect plan of God to bring us to maturity and to become spiritual people that would stand against the attacks of the enemy, the wiles of the enemy, and stood against persecution, opposition, and continue and finish the race. In the same situation, we have to find out what Jesus taught, and whatever is being said, we are not going to run away from what Jesus said.
Welcome back. You're watching Hope TV Newswatch. Now let's get down to business. Aviation workers have ended their strike after reaching an agreement with the government allowing normal airport operations to resume. The Kenya Airports Authority signed a return to work deal with the Kenya Aviation Workers Union, ending their air traffic control staff stoppage at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The breakthrough followed mediation led by Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir with the Ministry of Labour and the Civil Aviation Authority involved. Flights are now returning to schedule. Kenya is set to host the World Farmers Organization annual meeting in Nairobi from the 8th to the 11th of June this year, bringing together farmer leaders, policymakers, and experts from 65 countries. The event, themed Future Fields, will focus on sustainable agriculture, youth engagement, digital innovation, and fair trade. Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said the meeting honors Kenya's farmers will remain central to food security and economic growth while showcasing the country's tech-driven farming ecosystem to a global audience.
We welcome this meeting, June, here in Kenya. We believe it's an honor for us to host the farmers, and you should feel extremely welcome. And you feel that as farmers, the farming is the most important activity in our nation. And what we are trying to do here is infuse two things in our farming ecosystem. The first one is we want young people to go into farming because we are getting older and older. And the second thing is that we want farming to be technology-based.
The annual meeting General Assembly, a moment where all our members from more than 60 countries around the globe, 85 national farm organizations, women and young farmer organizations as well, come together and set and design our policy and position that becomes the tool in which we bring the voice of the farmers where it must be heard most. And everything that you say resonates entirely with the World Farmer Organization approach. World Farmer Organization want to be farmer-driven, science-based, and solution-oriented, pragmatic as the farmers are. When policy are discussed at global level, we draw upon the experience from our members and we bring the voice all together.
Kenya, Jamaica, DRC, South Sudan, and Angola have committed to creating regional tourism resilience funds and financing climate adaptation measures, prioritizing women and youth in transforming the tourism sector. The commitment was formalized in the Nairobi Declaration during the Global Tourism Resilience Day at the KICC.
We have embraced tourism resilience as a national priority. Currently, we are investing in diversified tourism products, expanding beyond traditional wildlife safaris to include cultural tourism, ecotourism, MICE tourism, sports tourism, gastronomy tourism, and digital innovation in travel services. Additionally, we are committed to strengthening public-private partnerships, enhancing sustainability standards to protect our natural heritage, from the iconic savannas of the Masai Mara to our pristine coastline along the Indian Ocean. We are also building capacity for crisis preparedness, data-driven decision-making, and climate adaptation.
We have surveyed the shifting landscape of risk that now defines our world. We have drawn lessons from recent storms, both literal and metaphorical. We have charted the vulnerabilities that remain. More so, we have forged a conviction that resilience can no longer remain a postscript to crisis.
Away from that, and Kenya's manufacturing sector is urging the government to step up support to boost growth, competitiveness, and intra-African trade. The call came during the launch of the Manufacturing Priority Agenda 2026 by the Kenya Association of Manufacturers.
So for us, global competitiveness is a key concern that we need to address, because it also affects and impacts assessments and the growth of many industries because of what we call levies and charges in different countries.
One thing that government seeks to achieve through Nyota is to create a pipeline and bring out visibility of the next generation of manufacturers, next generation of industrialists, next generation of entrepreneurs in this country.
All right, and to some sporting action now. Roiro Sports Club is gearing up for a week-long celebration as Lady Captain Rhoda Mukami ends her 2-year term, with the Lady Captain's prize set to draw over 300 golfers. The festivities run from February 23rd to 28th, featuring caddies and staff golf, senior competitions, social events, CSR initiatives, and a juniors tournament. Mukami leaves having boosted women's golf at the club, nurtured young talent, and put Roiro on the national map for prestigious competitions. Nairobi United FC has been ranked 59th in Africa following their debut season in the CAF Confederation Cup group stage. This ranking reflects their first taste of continental football, including a historic win over Tunisia's Etoile du Sahel and shows the gap between them and more established African clubs like Wydad AC and AS Maniema Union. Despite limited experience and a mid-season coaching change, Naibo's performance earned them a spot among Africa's top 60 teams. A great feat for the Naiboys. And finally, the UEFA Champions League knockout playoffs face kickoff tonight as teams fight for a place in the round of 16. These are two-legged playoffs, meaning every goal will matter. Galatasaray are currently hosting Juventus in what promises to be a tight contest. At 11 p.m. East African time, Benfica face Spanish giants Real Madrid. Borussia Dortmund take on Atalanta, while Monaco clash with Paris Saint-Germain. Well, with that, to come to the end of our news tonight, many thanks to you for making time to watch Hope TV Newswatch. We really do appreciate the value of your time. On behalf of the amazing team that made this bulletin a success, have yourselves a blessed night. My name is Kennedy Kimani, and Boniface Morethi has been our sign language interpreter.